Strong and uninformed opinions, everybody. Jeff Galino.
Chris Bailey.
It's been a while, but we're back. We got some stuff to talk about, some stuff to bitch about. How's your summer going so far?
Good, man. It's hot, as always.
Yeah.
As to be expected.
It's not been their best. Did you go anywhere? Any trips?
No.
Yeah, Arizona is one of those places during the summer everyone's just trying to get the fuck away. You haven't gone up north or anything?
Well, I did a little camping trip, just a one-day thing with my buddies.
Dude, even camping is a little rough now.
Yeah, it was warm.
Yeah,
up by the Flagstaff, but at night it was nice.
That's the thing. At night it's okay, but like I was just in Flagstaff, and honestly, it wasn't like it was hot, but I can't imagine being in a tent.
Yeah, in the morning it heats up quick.
Yeah, totally. All right, so let's get into it. What do you want to talk about? You pick our first subject, sir.
Let's see. I guess we were talking earlier about the Trump and his new kind of stance with Russia.
Oh, the new Trump.
The new Trump.
The agitated Trump who realizes not all of it's going to go his way.
Yeah,
I agree. Yeah. Well, so for those of you that don't know, it was just put out in the news. I don't know if you saw that Trump a year ago actually said to a group of donors that he told Putin that if he invaded Ukraine and went after Kiev, he would bomb the shit out of Moscow.
This was before he got elected.
This was before he got elected, which, I mean, you could argue that you're not supposed to do that stuff, but I think he was already president-elect. So, like, okay. he was already going to be president. So, okay. Like, I don't think it's completely off the cuff that presidents who are going in speak to world leaders and stuff. But that also brings up the point of, I mean, we had a president who wasn't probably, I mean, they said Biden never talked to Putin.
Yeah, that's what I heard.
The whole time all of this has been going on. Which
seems insane. Like, you got to come to the table with, world power enemies or whatever. You have to talk to them, right?
I would think, I mean, even during the Cold War, I mean, we did have diplomatic relations with Russia.
Yeah.
Or the Soviet Union, whatever. But so, like, the idea that you just had no communication with them, that, to me, I mean, it also just enforces the whole narrative of that Biden wasn't really capable or in charge or any of it. We could talk about that too later.
Yeah, yeah.
I mean, although that's just all.
I think everyone knows that,
Well, I know.
Even even the Democrats were like, "Yeah, we're going to pull him out."
It's real nice that you're willing to admit that now.
Later, yeah.
Because
the whole time, though, they had to have known.
Well, I understand
why they're trying to run him,
but and not that I'm defending a lot of like these psychos on the right either, but like, when anybody mentioned the fact that, hey, what's going on with Biden, you got a lot of shit for it. It wasn't just like, oh yeah, dude. It was literally what the fuck? It was gaslighting, which is there's all these new words. You're gonna learn another one later on that I didn't know what it meant until recently, but it's a good term. So gaslighting, I just always assumed that was arguing until somebody admitted you were right.
That's like making someone think like they're crazy for thinking.
Which I guess works on weak-minded people, but like, I'm sorry, but if I think I'm right, I'm not going to just give up just because you keep saying the same stupid shit.
Yeah.
Like, okay, you say the same stupid thing over and over, and now all of a sudden I believe it?
Right.
Well, no. I'm sorry, that's not how I work, but what were we talking? Oh, fucking, so back to Trump. So Trump seems to actually be kind of irritated with Putin now.
Well, look, it seems like he was before he even came into the presidency. If he's like, I'm going to fucking bomb Moscow.
Or do you,
well, don't get out of here. And he also said that about China. And he's like, and if China invades Taiwan, I'll throw a bomb in Beijing. And he said that in the same like.
I know.
And this is
and it's
before.
not funny. It's not funny. It's only funny if you think of it in the context of like. I wonder if that was all just because. Did you see what Putin's response was?
No.
This is actually, again, it's not funny, but it is funny. So when Trump told Putin, "I will bomb Moscow," Putin said, "I don't believe you. No way."
Right, yeah.
And Trump said, "Way."
That's like,
way. Dude, no way. Like, so we literally got a Bill and Ted response to starting a war with Russia.
That's not surprising.
It's not surprising, but a little bit funny. I don't know.
It's funny.
It's a little bit funny.
But he said that also about whoever the leader is of China. I can't pronounce his name.
I'm hoping.
But he says Trump said after he made that comment about Beijing, bombing Beijing, he said their president thinks I'm crazy, and he probably believes me about 10%. So it's
and that's what I was about to say. Like, it's not funny, but it is funny if you think about it from the context of like that was Trump's opening salvo on the situation. Is not, well, we'll talk about it. We'll get it. I'm going to bomb the fuck out of it, and then that as a pivot point of where to work back from.
Yeah.
Or is he that crazy? I don't think he's as crazy and as stupid as people think.
I think that's just how he negotiates. Just
yes,
like an extreme, like fucking out of this world, like proposition, and then just like you said, it worked back.
I think, well, and I mean, if you've read anything about like negotiation, like there's all kinds of, that is actually a pretty standard tactic is that you drop the fucking bomb and get them off guard.
Yeah.
You know, think about that. If you're Putin and you're in a conversation with Trump and you think, you know, whatever you think, but let's say for the previous 4 years, you've just been getting away with fucking murder, literally. And you're going in there thinking that you've got the upper hand and that these guys are stupid and fuck them, I can get away with whatever I want. And then you sit down with a guy and he's all like, I'm going to bomb you. And you're just all like, huh? Like, you know, like it kind of throws you back a little bit. And from that point, you're on not the defensive maybe, but your whole game plan is maybe off.
Yeah.
You know what I
that
mean?
throws a cog in your logic. You're like, oh, is this guy fucking crazy or is this what's happening?
I think in a previous episode, we even talked about that. That's like the idea of like when you go and like talk or like say trying to go buy a car. It's $20,000 car, which no car is $20,000.
I'll give you $5,000.
Yeah, totally. And the salesman's all like, "What?" Like, well, I can't do that. All right, how about $7,000?
Yeah.
And then like you started so low that you have so much room to wiggle your way up that the bare minimum is probably what that guy's going to take because he already knows that you want to give him $5,000 and 14 is the lowest that can take like at all.
Yeah, it's a negotiation tactic.
But you still want to sell the car, you know, because he's on commission. If he doesn't sell a car, he gets nothing.
Yeah.
You know, I mean, it's not comparable.
And he did that
with
saying he's going to take over Canada and like he said some crazy shit, but I think it was all the same idea. Just
I
like,
think
I'm
so
just
too.
Going to float out some crazy shit and let's see what happens.
I mean, this is, an unpopular opinion, but when the fuck, I mean, yes, obviously Canada is our allies and our neighbors and we're all good and stuff, but I don't know when that whole idea of like, they're our brothers, it's like, okay, I don't have any affinity or like, I mean, to me, they're just another country that borders us.
Yeah.
Like to me, I hate to say it, but that sounds mildly racist. Why are they our brothers? Why? Because it's white people?
Yeah. Why not Mexico?
Why not Mexico? To me, they're just other countries that border us.
Yeah.
They ain't my fucking brothers. If they're fucking us over, fuck them. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
so, like, I don't know where that whole... Because you know what I'm talking about, right?
With the
just
stuff?
like, just in general, we're like, you know, Canada is our... I mean, we're allies, don't get me wrong, but I don't know. Like, we're allies with Great Britain, too, and we also went to war with them. We've been at war with Canada before, so I just don't... I don't understand that narrative of like why I'm supposed to.
Like they're almost Americans.
Exactly.
Just because
which is also what they're fighting against. Is Trump saying you basically are Americans, just become Americans.
Yeah.
And
Canada's like, no, we're not.
Yeah, right. And no, you're not. So like, why should I be treating you like?
Yeah.
I mean, I think that's one of the weird things about this whole like America First thing is like, it doesn't mean I hate other people. It does mean that I kind of want us to be handled, managed, and taken care of first.
Yeah. I mean, we
so like, do I not want Canada to like have problems? No, that's fine.
Yeah.
Does it mean that I give a shit if Canada has problems because of what we have to do? No. Like, I'm sorry that if Canada has problems because all of our cars are manufactured in Canada and they all start moving back. Sorry.
Yeah.
Like, I don't know what to fucking tell you. Like, but
yeah.
But anyway, back to the actual subject. I'm starting to also feel a little bit of Trump's. This one's a little different though, but Trump seems to be also getting annoyed with Netanyahu. I don't think it's to the same extent, and it's for the same reasons. You know?
Yeah, I wonder because there's kind of a narrative floating, which may or may not be true, that Trump and a lot of American Congress and businesses are Israel puppets in a lot of ways. Like there's this kind of narrative that like whatever Israel wants, we're going to do. We're going to back them no matter what. So Trump, it seems like Trump might have the ego enough to be like, you know what, I'm not fucking Israel.
Yeah, I don't need to do.
Yeah, so maybe that's it's just like kind of pushing him to be like, no, you know, I don't know.
I think you might be getting a little out of screen there. Sorry, I want you to see Chris too. I agree, but I also.
So you've heard that narrative, right?
No, 100%. But I also and I'm just being totally truthful. A year ago, because me and you have talked about this stuff. A year ago, I would have started being like, "No, that's bullshit." Da 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 da. I'm not all in on. Yeah, we're run by Israel. But dude, there's a lot of fucking signs of like, yeah, what the fuck?
Did you see that interview with Tucker Carlson and Ted Cruz?
No.
Oh, dude, that's you got to see that. It's pretty mind blowing the stuff Ted Cruz is saying about like his job is to protect Israel, and Tucker's like confronting him like, why would you put Israel above our country? And he said that multiple times, like I'm for Israel, and then he mentions his religious priorities as far as governing.
Yeah, I mean, and that's something
telling as far as the Israel thing too.
Yeah, and I mean, this is no offense to everyone who's religious. I mean, I grew up Catholic. I don't know if you grew up religious or not, but
a little bit Mormon. My grandparents were.
Okay,
but
so I grew up religious. I cannot say I'm super religious now. I mean, I have some beliefs and thoughts. Basically, my religion is I don't know what the fuck's going on. And I think it's kind of weird if you think you do. Yeah. But I had this discussion with somebody the other day of like, I don't dislike Christians. I don't dislike Muslims. I don't dislike Eastern religions. I actually think if religion helps you, it's positive.
Yeah.
I mean, not to I don't know what the right word is, minimize it or anything, because it is belief in what happens to your everlasting soul. So, I mean, by far, it is important. But my whole thing is that if it psychosomatically helps you get through life, because life is hard. That's one thing that most motherfuckers
whatever works for you,
Totally.
Like if that help gives you hope or whatever, and it might be true, it might not, like you said, who knows,
I mean, I personally like to believe in a God that would reward me for being questioning.
Yeah.
Like, he'd like at least be all like, hey, you fucking really didn't, whatever God it is or whatever, hey, you didn't really believe in me the whole time. Yeah, but I kind of didn't, get any real proof. We're supposed to have faith. I would like to think that there's like a and B line. I would still be in the B line just because that's one good thing about being Catholic is we had purgatory. You ever heard of that concept? Yeah, so that's great. I feel like I would end up in purgatory.
Yeah, if it was all true.
Like, am I going straight to the head of the line? No, but I don't think I'm horrible.
Yeah.
But as long as it gets you through the day, that's fine. Now, this is to the point of what I was going to get at. I don't want your extreme views of any religion involved in any part of anyone's everyday life.
Any policy, like any.
I don't want your extreme Christian views, your extreme Muslim views, your extreme Hindu views, which I'm sure there are, but I've never heard of them, whatever they are. I mean, I know that there's, like warrior monks and shit like that. That sounds mildly extreme. So I don't even think that's Hindu, though. I don't know what that is.
Maybe the Buddhist monks?
Yeah, that's what it is. It's like militant Buddhists, which...
That Kung Fu show, you seen that?
No, but...
Really?
No.
From the 80s?
Kung Fu? The actual show Kung Fu.
Kwai Chang.
Yeah. Well, I mean, yes. Was that what that was about?
I think so.
Oh, okay.
It was,
well, no, I mean, but regardless, I don't care what religion it is. I just don't want you involved. So, like, if you're sticking up for fucking Israel because you think that bringing about the end of the world is a good thing because Israel has to, I forgot what it is in the Bible.
Yeah, it's part of their prophecy to gain this land.
Yeah, you can go fuck yourself. Like, the rest of us kind of want you not to do that.
Yeah.
Same thing when it comes to Muslim beliefs. Like, you can go and do whatever you want. The golden rule.
Yeah.
You do what you like, and I'll do what I like. How's that sound?
If you're making laws and stuff, being religious, that's part of your person. So you're going to bring that to some degree, but you also have to have, first of all, like a justice mindset. Like, this is like laws for everyone, Well,
and as being like, I don't know if that's, I would say, I think that's the right word, agnostic. Like, I don't have a religion. I do have beliefs. So I think that's agnostic.
I think so.
Okay. If that's what I am, that's what I'll be honest with you. I don't think about it too much either. If that's what I am, I'm agnostic. But coming from an agnostic point of view, I absolutely put the idea that you have the right to believe what you need. You know what I mean?
And that's what America was based off of anyway.
Right. So, why wouldn't you think the same way about me?
Yeah.
Is it because I'm a heathen non-believer? It's like, okay, but like, I still live here too, motherfucker. Like, love thy neighbors. Isn't that part of your thing?
Yeah.
I don't know.
Yeah.
Like, so maybe think about me. I don't know. I'm thinking about you.
Yeah.
You can do what you want. I just don't want you ending the world because of it. Like, so I think that's a big thing that nobody really talks about, is just religious extremism across the board.
That's kind of the Middle East. A lot of those leaderships are kind of religious leaderships.
Well, and that's where Iran turns into a thing, which is where I can understand part of Israel's argument against stuff, which me and you talked about that like a couple of weeks ago through text. He texts me things all the time. That's actually why we even started the podcast. It's because he texted me things and we'd start talking about it. Before I know it, we're like 5 days into a conversation. I'm like, why don't we just record this? We were talking about it, and I didn't know that, but Iran and Israel weren't necessarily blood enemies until the 90s.
Yeah,
for some reason I was thinking this was
peaceful for a long time, for all through the 80s. Like, they were trading stuff and they were cool with
and it wasn't even, that was after the revolution. So like, Iran was already death to the USA at that point, but they were not fuck Israel at that point.
No. So
my question is like, what the fuck happened? Is it because of our alliance with Israel? But we were aligned with Israel before that.
Yeah, it's all. I mean, I think all that idealism goes out the window with leaders when they're like tactical alliances. If something becomes not convenient or it kind of hurts their economy or they're strategic, they'll like, Israel's flipped a lot. They flip around kind of.
You said that. Yeah.
And I think it's just positioning themselves on the global stage more so than any kind of vendetta or any kind of personal religious stuff. I think it's just like cutthroat politics.
Well, back to what you were saying about Ted Cruz, where like he says it's my job to protect Israel. That could be interpreted a couple ways.
That might not be an exact quote, but that's the vibe.
That was the gist of it.
Yeah. But you should watch that. That's pretty mind blowing. I was like, what the fuck?
Well, here's the only thing I would say about that though, because I'm okay. I'm diabetic. I don't want to add carbs. Are they sugar free?
I don't know.
Oh,
probably not.
Yeah, didn't know. So that's the whole thing with it, though. Is like, I don't. I mean, I do think that if you are a country surrounded by countries that literally want to see you destroyed, yeah, I mean, I understand why people are also trying to protect you, or why you're trying to protect yourself. And you can't argue that that's what that the other countries have said that. Like this whole narrative of like, no, they want to live peacefully. I don't buy that shit at all.
Oh, like the other Arab countries?
The other Arab countries, I mean, when you go back, and I mean, this is one thing that me and you started even talking about with Israel, where you even said it changed your mind a little bit. Israel never, I mean, you can say that they kind of pushed in on the land, but that was already conquered land that was given to them by the conquerors. Okay? So you can have your opinion on that, whatever you want. Israel didn't do anything, though. They didn't come in and take it over. They were given it.
Yeah.
Okay? After that is when you see, all of the wars that Israel has been in with its neighbors were started by the neighbors. Israel didn't start any of those wars. Do you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Now in recent times, there's provocation. Israel has done things to provoke them. But I've also told you this. I think that Israel's response to a lot of things has actually been quite measured. Like, not recently. In fact, my view on Israel's, like I said, changing a little bit as well.
Yeah, I think we both started on opposite ends, and
we're starting to actually come into, like in my opinion, like why are you still bombing Gaza? What is left to bomb? Yeah, it makes zero sense.
There is a why. They're doing it for a reason.
Well, yeah,
but we don't. I mean, you can speculate.
I don't. The whole narrative of them, I do not think they're trying to exterminate the Palestinian people. I just don't believe that.
Yeah,
I don't.
I think they don't want them there anymore. I'm like, I think
that could be true.
They're just like, we're done. Go somewhere else. We're done with you guys. That could be totally
true. That could be true.
And they've been kind of encroaching with their settlements into Palestine for decades with their illegal settlements.
That's what I said about provocation.
Yeah,
like they're definitely
like you can't just go be like, hey, we're gonna.
But see, and then and this is where I have also, which I'm going to get into. This will be my segue into our next topic, though. Part of my narrative of the whole thing is like you got to remember though that Israel took over all of that.
Yeah.
At one point, Israel was triple the size it is right now. And I don't know why they did it. In fact, I think I would actually say it was a huge mistake to give that shit back. Because think about it, if they kept the Sinai, they could have given like half the Sinai and Gaza. Like you could have actually had a two-state. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Israel just doesn't have the room when they gave it all back. So for those of you that don't know this, I think it was the 6-Day War. Was that what it was called?
I'm not totally sure.
So Israel's been at war with its neighbors a few times. Every one of the times, they have been attacked by their neighbors, usually a coalition. It's usually been like Egypt, Syria, Jordan, Lebanon, maybe not Lebanon, but a group of Arab countries have all attacked Israel. And every time they have done that, Israel has beaten the shit out of them. Okay? You can say it's with American help. I would argue that's only maybe one or two of the times it was with American help. The first few times it happened, Israel actually almost had no army. It was like a citizen army that beat the shit out of them. I think the first time they actually had the first war, I think Israel only had 6 planes.
Damn.
That's what I mean. So like they, if you're going by the rules of war, they actually defended themselves, and every time they've defended themselves, they have taken over more than what they were just defending. Like, so when Egypt attacked them, they actually went into fucking Egypt and took over a giant chunk of Egypt, but it was after they were attacked. It's very similar to what Ukraine is trying to do. Russia took over part of Ukraine, so Ukraine is no longer trying to even, they're trying to hold that line, but they're attacking into Russia, and they're taking over parts of Russia that was never theirs. Similar shit, okay? And would you say that Ukraine is just defending themselves?
Yeah.
Okay, well, Israel was just defending themselves, but they happened to take over part of Egypt. Now, if they would have kept that part of Egypt, what they didn't, they gave it all back. They would have kept that part of Egypt, they could have made Gaza way bigger and given them way more land, and then maybe we wouldn't even have a fucking problem. But instead they gave it back to Egypt, and what did Egypt do? They built a gigantic fucking wall where no one was allowed into Egypt from Israel or fucking Palestine. Now, remember, this is the people that Egypt was apparently trying to help. And does that sound like something you
Palestine?
Yeah, well, Gaza.
Gaza, yeah.
They were trying to help Gaza by attacking Israel. Does that sound like that's the act of... remember, Gaza borders Egypt.
Yeah.
So if you were trying to help Gaza against the fucking invaders, why wouldn't you just put up a wall on the invader side and leave the Gaza side open so that way you could help those people? That's not what they did. Okay? So, again...
So what does that say? That they don't really trust Gaza leadership?
I think what it says is that they don't really give a fuck about them.
Yeah.
I think their purposes and their reasons are completely outside of the poor Palestinians. If it was about the poor Palestinians, they would help them.
Yeah,
and even now, they're all starving, and Israel's bombing the shit out of them, which we've talked about that too. Is like Israel's at war with them. I'm not 100% sure why it's their responsibility to also take care of them. That's not always. It's their job. It's their job to make sure that the populace is fed and stuff like that.
Yeah.
But Egypt did not open its border after that. In fact, they are still not letting things through there. And everyone says, yeah, but that's the Israelis aren't letting it through. They don't run that. The Israelis don't run that border. How is it?
Now they do.
Okay, but they run one side of it.
Yeah.
Okay, but they didn't always.
No.
Well, then why wouldn't all of that aid be coming through that border?
Right.
Or even over the last
couple of years, whatever.
Since 2008, when Israel left Gaza and let them have it.
Yeah. Egypt is, it seems like they're like kind of, like you said, just kind of like, we'll help if we feel like it.
Well, and
if
so
it benefits us or whatever.
Circling back so that way I don't lose my train of thought, but that comes back to the whole like encroaching on these settlements and stuff. Technically, they don't have to give the Palestinians anything.
Well, they do.
It was all theirs.
They do if they're like, okay, this is Palestine, this is Israel, cool, and then next year, but we're going to start putting settlements in there.
And that's
so you have to say one or the other. You have to be like, you know what, we're going to take this back.
Back to your flip-flopping argument.
Yeah.
Well, no, that's a flip-flop for sure.
Is, yeah.
But that's also why I said giving it all back was the biggest mistake. They should have not given it back and said, hey, you can stay here, be Palestinians, but you live in Israel.
Yeah, it's interesting to wonder why they did give it back, because it just created...
If I had to guess, and this is where we come into play, I'd say pressure from the U.S. and we caused a bigger problem.
Probably, yeah.
That sounds about right.
The whole that whole situation is Western caused problems from when they drew up the borders.
Western caused problems with Middle Eastern interference. None of it. I've told you that before, dude. I think that the pawns in the whole thing are the Palestinian people. I don't even think most Palestinians give a shit at this point. I think they literally just want to live somewhere.
Yeah, that's any average person. They're not. They just want to have a peaceful
okay. So that's
life.
another good point, dude. So like, do you remember that? Okay, so part of that whole thing with the wars with their neighbors and stuff was when Israel was first named a country. Okay, the other Arab countries told all the Palestinian people. Some of them stayed. Some of them became Israeli citizens. Which, if you ask any of the Palestinian people who are Israeli citizens living in Israel, they love it. And everyone says that they're treated like second. They can vote. Like, dude, they are full-on Israelis. It's just that they're from Palestinian descent.
I've heard people say, like Arabs in Israel, say they are treated differently.
But I would say that's the same as like somebody here saying they're treated differently because they're
different heritage or
yeah,
whatever.
I mean that does happen. Okay,
Yeah.
I mean I'm not going to say, but treated differently how? Like you rounded up and fucking beaten and tortured, or treated differently just like
say like the one I heard was this Arab guy. I don't know if he was Palestinian, but he was like, yeah, we're treated different. We have our own kind of neighborhoods that don't get the same kind of services. State, well,
you mean like Chinatown, Little Italy?
We're kind of treated second class.
Little Saigon.
Like we can vote, but they don't really give us places to like stuff like that.
That happens in America.
Yeah, it does.
That's what I'm saying. So I mean, I don't see the difference, truthfully. But like a lot of Palestinians that's one guy though.
Yeah.
You see other interviews and they're like, no, life is pretty good, man. We're all making money. It's good.
Yeah.
But back to what I was saying about like they just want a home. These Arab neighbor countries, they told all the Palestinians living inside of Israel, leave. And when you leave, and once we win, then you can go back and you'll have your own country. So a lot of them left. They turned themselves into refugees.
Left Palestine?
Left Israel.
Oh, Israel. Okay.
Okay. I mean, that's clever wording. They left Palestine and Israel and they went into Jordan and Syria and I think even Egypt, all of those places. Well, that's where now, I think it's in Jordan or maybe it's Syria. You have Palestinian refugee camps that have been there for 60 years.
Damn.
At that point, are you really a refugee?
That's like in Jordan, it's like that.
Jordan. Huh? Okay, that's the one.
Yeah.
Okay, but at that point, are you really a refugee?
If you're not really.
No, you're a Jordanian.
You're not. Well, if Jordan is like, you guys still stay there, you can't really come into our society.
These are the good people that were going to liberate them, remember?
Right.
That's my point.
Jordan?
All of them.
Yeah.
Like, why were these guys, like so quick to help, but not really help? They were willing to go to war with Israel, but they weren't actually willing to take care of it.
I think it is Jordan. They're like, their refugee population is fucking crazy. It's like it's a big part of their overall population.
Because you let people live. You're like 3 generations deep now in people who are refugees. Why don't you just assimilate them into your culture? They're already part of it.
Yeah, I don't know what that's about.
So then I have to question your moral stance on why you're helping the Palestinians.
Yeah.
Like, you're not helping anybody. Like, you want to talk about open air prison.
Yeah.
You just basically created a prison where the Palestinian people are allowed to go after telling them to go there because you were going to liberate them and then you didn't.
Then they live in tents for 60 years in the desert. Yeah, they got a hard life, man.
So let me ask you this. Why wouldn't...
No one likes them, huh? Really?
I told you, they're the pawns in this whole fucking game, dude. So let me ask you this. Why wouldn't Jordan, since those people have been there for 60 years, and they're all in this it's a big fucking camp too. I mean, it's I think the size of Gaza.
Yeah.
Okay, so we're not talking this little thing. Why wouldn't Israel and Jordan just come together and say, we're going to give them this part of the West Bank, you're going to give them this part of fucking Jordan, and that's Palestine. These people all live there already anyway. Two people having to come up with a solution. Both of them are giving up something, because I think it's pretty clear at this point that Israel is tolerating the West Bank.
Yeah.
I think they want it gone.
They'll slowly get it. They'll slowly settle it.
The argument is that it was already theirs to give back.
It was, but I mean, they, like you said, they conquered it at one point.
That's what I mean. So I think that the argument would
They're
be,
like, give back, but we're going to kind of just...
I think that if something like that doesn't happen, there will never be a two-state. Never.
I think that's gone.
That ship has fucking sailed.
Yeah, that's not going to happen now.
So I think an Arab state will literally, which brings us back to Trump and his ridiculous claims of, well, no, they can leave and then they can come back after. That's kind of what Trump was talking about, of like the whole idea of like the solution to this problem is no longer going to be the same shit you've heard for 60 years. It's going to have to be something different. Now, well, maybe that's one of those different things. Because here's the thing. If that camp in Jordan was absorbed by the West Bank and then that becomes Palestine. Granted, small country. So what? So Switzerland. You know what I mean? Like, small country. But then aid and all the things that other countries get can start flowing into that. And like Trump said, not necessarily like Gaza, because Gaza might be another whole thing. Gaza is actually it's a resort town. Not the way it is now, but it could be one,
Yeah, wasn't Trump saying that? We'll put up a Trump hotel and go surfing.
In his stupid Trump way, yeah. But think about this, dude, with all of the sympathy the Palestinians have, if they actually had their own chunk of land that no one was going to fuck with, it was protected by international law.
But that's what they've had.
That's not what they had.
They've had their own land, supposedly. But
again,
they
Chris,
fight with Israel.
Again, Chris, that's what I'm talking about. I think you need to just stop thinking of it that way.
Yeah.
That is, it's never going to happen.
But you're talking about making it happen, was it was supposed
because
to
you
be.
got to think of it in a different way.
Yeah.
Again, you've got how many?
Just start fresh and be like, all right, here's the new borders.
To a certain extent, yes.
Yeah.
Those motherfuckers all lived there already anyway for the last 60 years as refugees. Like, why not make that their state? And then with the sympathy that the world has for the Palestinians, like, issue. Do you have any idea how many billions and billions of dollars would just flood in?
I guess I'm saying that's what they did the first time, and this is what it's come to. So doing it again is
wait. But what did they do the first time after that was the first solution?
Fight
with war.
Yeah, they fight. They're going to fight again.
Well, not if
like
it's
another like.
But what if it's the actual regional powers because what you said about the West was the one who created all the problems.
Yeah,
I agree. Okay, but what if it was the Middle East that came up with this solution, and therefore everybody's already part of this, as opposed to
Israel's not going to agree with it though.
Why wouldn't they? If they get part of the West Bank over that, and they give up part of the West Bank, they kind of get what they want. Remember, a good compromise.
Well, they might, but I just feel like it's just doing the same thing over again.
I think it's doing the same thing over again with the participation of the people who are involved, instead of it being
Western creative.
Great Britain and fucking the French just carving up the Middle East.
Yeah.
Because that's what you started with. You started with a bad... no one in good faith was like, this is mine, this is yours.
Yeah, I mean, something they need. Yeah, it'd be cool if they had their own place. And
I think that's the only way a two-state solution will ever happen.
Yeah.
Is somebody's going to, and like I said, it makes sense only because you have the largest refugee population in the world already sitting in Jordan for the last, I don't even remember how long I was saying. It's like
60 years. Yeah.
It's something like that. They're not even, I mean, they're not refugees at that point. They're really not.
Well, if they're living like refugees, and if like Jordan won't let them in their society, they're still refugees.
But again, and I mean, not to, whose fault is that?
Yeah, Jordan.
That's Jordan.
But they might not be able to absorb like 70%.
Don't absorb. That's exactly my point. You're not absorbing them at that point.
Maybe they're just like, yeah, you can come here to get out of the way of the bombs, but really we can't fucking, our country will fall apart if all this population comes.
But remember, that's not what the promise was. The promise that Jordan and all those countries gave was leave now in protest. And when we win, you go back. Yeah. How's that worked out?
They didn't win, so.
Yeah, well, that's.
So now they're stuck.
I think that's the only thing I take away from Trump's stupid plan is the idea of like maybe there needs to be a plan that's outside the box. Do you know what I'm saying? Because think about it, dude.
That's outside the box.
All these oil-rich ass countries, Qatar, fucking Saudi Arabia, Kuwait, all of them, dude. If they had a place to send money to, and it was under some sort of mutual agreement, Israel feels okay because they can be part of the idea of like, okay, that money cannot be spent on weapons. You know, you can spend all that money on infrastructure, food, resources, and the surrounding countries have a coalition of we will be your army. There literally will be no threat to them if everyone around them is on the same page.
It'd be like a UN for the Middle East. Like
totally. I mean, that could cause problems down the road, but where, you know, the UN of the Middle East is just all like, fuck the regular.
They're always going to have problems in that area, I think. It just feels like that. I feel like it's kind of, now that Syria's out of the picture, that's like a Western-friendly country now, Israel-friendly. And that was a huge barrier in between Israel getting to Iran, you know?
Yeah. I mean, that's true. And I don't know. The Middle East is a mess. I mean, all I got to say is whatever we did, people can say that we didn't actually blow up their nuclear program or whatever we did, it worked.
Yeah, it's been quiet, which is good.
And they could.
I was worried. I was like,
well, yeah. I mean, dude, we have. I said that to somebody not too long ago. I was like, when was the last time we bombed Iran? Because they were saying it wasn't a big deal. But
Iran said that?
No. My friend was saying that it wasn't a big deal. But the reason they were saying that is because they were trying to downplay, you know, because it had already worked. And nobody's giving Trump credit for anything. So after the fact, they said, well, it wasn't really that big of a deal. And
us bombing Iran?
Us bombing Iran.
Wasn't a big deal.
Wasn't a big deal. Okay. And that is strictly just because nobody is going to give Donald Trump he actually pulled that off. You know what I mean? Like, yeah. I was worried too, dude. I was
it got quiet after that.
Well, you got to also understand, dude, like the only reason I was worried is because that could turn into Iran, China, Russia real quick.
Yeah.
That's what I was worried about.
Well,
I'm not worried about Iran.
Yeah.
Iran by itself is not a threat to the United States. Even when they talk about closing off the Straits of Hormuz and like choking the oil, that really doesn't affect us.
Because China and Iran have a pretty big trade, oil, all that stuff. So
but they all hate each other.
Yeah, but I mean, it's the alliance of convenience. Like they kind of need that.
But then it's this. Who does China benefit more from? Iran or the United States?
Yeah.
It's going to be, I think in Trump in his stupid way says that all the time, you know, we are holding the cards. And there will be a point when we don't have the cards. And if you try to negotiate then, it ain't going to work.
Right.
So that is part of why you got to do this shit while you got the stuff to do it.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And I agree with that. Like, I think the biggest thing with Trump, I mean, not to get off topic, but the biggest thing with Trump is just, it's the same reason why people think, like if you're from like the Midwest You either find people from New York interesting and funny, or you think they're rude. It's the same thing, dude. Trump is a fucking New Yorker. Like, he talks like a New Yorker. He very fucking blunt and all those things. And some people think it's funny, and other people think that he's a rude, condescending piece of shit.
Yeah.
And that's a fair thing. But it's all about
maybe both at the same time.
Oh, I think it's definitely both at the same. I mean, dude, I'm fully willing to admit that he can be funny and be a total piece of shit at the same time. But I'm also, I know, I'm from New Jersey. I know a lot of people like that.
Right.
Do you know what I mean? Like, I know people with hearts of gold who that if you talk to them for 5 minutes, you think they're the biggest sack of shit ever. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, so I don't know, but and I'm not talking about like regionally. I'm talking about like that's the whole thing of why it's so easy for somebody who dislikes Trump to be all like, see, he's mean and this and that. But then somebody else looks at it and goes, yeah, but that he doesn't mean any of that.
Yeah.
Like, that's just how he's talking, you know?
Yeah. I could see that. That's, just kind of different. It's almost a different culture.
Yes.
You don't understand it,
Well, we ate up a lot of time with that, but real quick, and then we got to get done. Way big circle back where we were
I forgot where we started.
Yeah, totally. Way big circle back of how Israel took over something and then gave it back. Okay. I have a huge problem with this whole narrative of what's going on with ICE and the idea of, and this is, well, it was stolen from Mexico anyway. Do you know anything about the Mexican-American War, or do I have to get into that as well?
I don't know much.
Okay, so yes, Arizona, New Mexico, California, even Texas were all part of Mexico.
Yeah.
Technically, they were part of the Spanish Empire. The Spanish are the worst colonizers who have ever lived. Let's just get that out of the way.
Why?
Dude, you don't even want me to get into that. Conquistadors?
That's a whole nother...
Well, you ever heard of some of the stories of conquistadors?
Pretty brutal, yeah.
Okay. So at this point, the video stopped recording, which is a shame because me and Chris talked about some really good stuff after this. But I guess you'll have to join us next time and we'll finish the conversation. Just to finish the thought that I was in the middle of, the Spanish were by far the worst colonizers in the New World. They rampaged through North America and South America and Central America. And you can debate me all you want, but I'm just saying they were really bad. Anyway, strong and uninformed opinion. Sorry about this. Shit happens when you record podcasts on your fucking iPhone. Anyway, until next time, I don't know, hang in there. I guess that's all you can do nowadays, but we'll see you. All right? Later.